So grab your blocks. We're gonna lay back, and I want those blocks, I want those blocks straight out from my head, basically. So my feet are on the ground, blocks are on the ground. I want rib cage and pelvic bone pulling towards one another, so if I need to do a little reset of the hips and then a gentle shake of the knees, I can. And then elbows straight out from shoulders, hands on the blocks. Check in that when I lifted my elbows, my shoulders didn't also lift and come up towards those ears. If they did, I probably took my elbows up too high. So I can drop them down just a little ways. Hands staying on the blocks. I'm going to tuck my chin so the back of my neck works towards the ground. And I'll start with an inhale for a count of 5. Hold for 5. Ocean breath out through the nose like you're fogging up a mirror. 5 seconds. Hold your breath for 5. Breathe in. Hold. Ocean breath out through the nose, fog up that mirror. Hold your breath. Fill up. Hold. Breathe out through an ocean breath. Hold for 5. Breathe in. Hold your breath. You need a bench and 2 blocks. Ocean breath out. Hold your breath. Inhale. Hold 5. Breathe out through an ocean breath. Hold for 5. Inhale. Heavy sigh out. Breathe in. Heavy sigh, release. Fill up. Sigh to release. Inhale 5. Hold for 10. Heavy sigh out. Breathe in 5. Hold for 10. Sigh it out. Fill up. Hold. Heavy sigh. Breathe in. Hold 20. Sigh it out. Straighten out your legs. Bring the hands off the blocks. We're going to focus on pelvic tilts here. So instead of doing this in bridge like we normally do, we're laying with our legs long as if we were standing. And then as you exhale, think about the hip bones pulling up towards the rib cage. As you inhale, they pull away from the rib cage. Exhale, engage pelvic floor, tuck hip bones up to the rib cage. Inhale, relax the pelvic floor and untuck the hips. So it's this very small movement, just tucking under and relaxing. And this isn't about the belly button, so I'm not thinking, okay, I've got to pull my belly button down towards my spine. It's really more about the hip bones. We do this for 1 minute. In 20 seconds, we'll start doing a lateral hip shift. So as one hip relaxes down into the ground, the other one is going to lift up, and it's almost like a marble is being rolled from one hip bone to the other. We'll start that in 5. Okay, so let the left hip lift up towards the sky as the right hip drops down towards the floor. And then switch gently, right hip lifts up, left hip relaxes towards the ground. Side to side. You can think about contracting the glutes. You can think about really peeling that right hip up as the left hip drops drops down into the floor. Very small movement. 1 more seconds, then we'll bend our knees. Almost like we're going to go into bridge, and when we do that, we'll go into pelvic clocks. So we'll trace our hips in a clock motion. 3, 2, bend the knees. So hips are going to drop forward, so hip bones are lifting up towards the sky. Gradually come across over to the left. Tuck the hips, reaching that pubic bone up towards the rib cage. And then gradually coming over towards that right side and back to the top. So if you think about a clock, you're trying to trace every single number on that clock. We're only going one direction for 1 minute, and then we'll switch directions when I tell you to.
That's all in the hips.
That's all in the hips. So this is a lot of pelvic floor work. The pelvic floor is a muscle as well, and so just like we do cars with everything else, we should be doing cars with our pelvic floor. because that can contribute to low back pain. Okay, take those circles the other direction, hitting every number on the clock.
You held your course for some distant war in the corners of your mind.
15 more seconds. Try not to let your knees sway from side to side. And then let's bring our feet up to the bench. Hands up towards the sky. You want about a 90-degree bend in the knees, so adjust your body as needed. Hands up towards the sky, prayer position. We'll bring them overhead without the back arching off the ground as far as you can. If you can touch the ground, great. If you feel like your back lifts off the ground as you do that, make your stopping point before it hits the ground or before it lifts off the ground. Inhale, back up, right over the chest. Exhale, take them overhead. Pause. Inhale, back to starting position. So if your fingertips do not come overhead to the floor without the back arching, you can actually take your block and adjust it to whatever height you need to make that your guide as to how far you're going, so that the back doesn't arch. But if you find that you'd rather just control and be aware of what your spine is doing, you can also do it that way, without the block.
What is the inhale?
Inhale is as your hands are coming back up to center. Exhale is as they're going to the floor. Holding the hands at the top, we'll take a deep breath in. Exhale, engage pelvic floor. Push into your heels and do a gentle little tuck of the hips. Very small tuck. Inhale, relax the tuck. Relax that push down onto the bench with the heels. Then relax the pelvic floor. Exhale, engage pelvic floor. Push down into the bench with the feet. Tuck the hips. Inhale, untuck the hips. Relax the squeeze with the feet. Relax the pelvic floor. Check in with your neck. Is it arching off the ground? Can you try to reach the back of your neck for the floor? These are very slow movements. Everything is very slow and intentional today. And again, there's not really a push until the very end if you want to consider the end a push. But everything is super gentle and intentional. So think about your neck throughout the whole class. Think about where in our spine we're trying to focus on. Right now it's low spine and pelvis. We're going to add on to this. Exhale, engage pelvic floor, push into the bench. Start to lift up one vertebra at a time till you get to the top of your bridge. Pause here, then roll back down one vertebra at a time. Feel each vertebra as it reconnects with the ground. We're still pushing into the bench with our feet. We're still engaged through our pelvic floor. Once we get to the bottom and our hips come back into contact with the floor, we can relax the grip with the bench and then we relax the pelvic floor. Exhale, engage pelvic floor, push down with the heels, roll up one vertebra at a time. At the top you pause, and then you get to roll down one vertebra at a time. Once you get to the bottom with your hips, you get to relax everything else first and then the pelvic floor. 15 more seconds. And when you're back on the ground, next time you're down, take your time. You'll come around into kneeling. Hands are out in front of you. Hips are back on your heels. And as you exhale, I want you to think if my hand was on your mid-back, you're pushing into my hand as you exhale. As you inhale, you're gonna pull the belly button forward and try to lift your back off my hand. Exhale, push into my hand. Feel that belly button scoop, rib cage and pelvic bone coming towards one another. Inhale, let the back lift away from the hand. So obviously my hand is not really there, but that's exactly where I want to be moving in my spine. So this is not cat-cow with my whole spine. It's with that very specific area of the spine in the mid-back. Now we're going to lift up. If you are uncomfortable sitting with your hips on your heels, you can bring a block underneath you. Up to you, but you don't have to. From here, hands out in front. We're going to draw our right arm back like we're pulling a bow and arrow. As I'm doing this though, I don't want my shoulder to come up and forward. Can everyone see that? So I'm thinking about moving from scaps back and down, and then I pull back. My chest stays forward the whole time, but the motion is as if I was pulling a bow and arrow. So that's the motion, but I'm keeping the chest forward, and then I bring it back out to the front, and I do the other side. Pull back, shoulder stays down, and then forward, side to side. I love you like, my shoulders are up. Yeah.
Go ahead and keep your leg moving. Recognize your push-ups.
Because you don't realize you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says pulling your shoulders up during the push-ups makes them easier. So you do this tools. Pick me up for it.
Good.
Yeah, it is good. It's
Yeah.
good. I do all that in church. It's a kind of stuff in the Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, yeah. When do you see it?
Pardon?
When do you see it?
Not till 27.
Oh, that's right. It's twice. Next week, Tuesday.
Yes.
Because I have events all the rest of this
Oh.
month. So take the right hand to the ground. We're going to exhale, reach that left arm over towards the right, and open up this left side body. Hold here, take a deep breath in. Exhale, see if we can get a little more opening here from rib cage to hip bone. Next time you inhale, bring that arm through, and the right arm lifts overhead. So now we're bringing to the right side body. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, back up to center. Switch sides. So it's exhale, inhale, exhale, then inhale to switch. So you go through a whole cycle of breathing. I'm gonna let you guys go on your own for the next minute of this. But we're really thinking about not just leaning with our whole body, but keeping that hip reaching down so we can get length through the side. Because we will be breathing into the side body and into the upper back. And we want to be able to open that up so we can access it so it's not locked down. block. So if you're not sitting on a block, go ahead and grab a block, sit on it. It's probably best to be at its lowest level, but wherever you feel most comfortable. You'll take your left leg out long. This right leg is going to come up in front, knee bent. And then we're going to reach towards our left leg with our left hand. Right arm's gonna lift up towards the sky. We're gonna work to get that rib cage away from the hip bone, looking up at the sky. So leaning to left, right arm up. Again, this is gonna feel way more supportive with it at its widest point on the ground. So up to you where it feels best. And we're just breathing into this side body on the right side for 1 whole minute before we switch. If you want to make this a little more intense, kind of bring that block underneath just the left hip so that right hip can drop down towards the ground. More seconds. When you're ready, you can switch over to the other side. So right leg straight, left knee bent, right hand reaches for the right leg, left arm overhead. Start here, and then as things start to loosen up, maybe you shift the block just to the right hip so the left hip can drop a little bit more. Looking up at the sky, so we're thinking about opening back with that rib cage as well. There you go, feel the difference. Is this all feeling okay? Yeah, I like the sunglasses. I mean, that's great. It's a great idea because I feel like I'm looking in the sun all the time. Can't see anything. 2, 1, and gently come out of that. We can stay on this block, give our other block a hug. We'll come into thoracic rotations. So we're going to tuck rib cage down to center. Bring the block over towards the left hip. So our whole rib cage turns. Now we think about turning over to the left. So I'm just going to start to rotate my right shoulder up and back. Start looking up at the sky. And now I want to think about lengthening the spine, almost like I'm pole vaulting and I have to get over that stick. So I don't knock it off the other sticks, whatever they're called. Up and over. And then laterally bending over to the other side. Start to roll that left shoulder forward so my rib cage tucks down towards that right hip bone and come back to center. So I'm going to go that same direction for 1 minute. Really thinking about healing that rib cage around the circles. Staying tall through the spine. Shoulders are not lifting up towards my ears. Nice, Tina. Take it the other direction. I'm actually sore from doing this last class. You can feel it when you're actually working. All the motions. Okay. Okay, we're going to take our block between our legs and our rib cage. So find the base of your rib cage and then bring it between the knee or the thighs and that rib cage, hands on the ground. So this is going to block off the front of our body so that when we breathe in, our rib cage has to expand out this way and out behind us. So we're focusing on back and side breathing.
Are you saying under our ribcage?
Yep. So it's
Like
blocking.
up against your,
If you can.
what, like your xiphoid
It
process?
depends on how your body is shaped. So like mine does not sit underneath. So it's
Okay.
right on top of the ribs, but it's
Okay.
blocking my stomach from being able to expand forward. So that's the idea there. Hands on the ground, and then we'll take a deep breath in, trying to feel into the back and the sides of the body. Ocean breath out. Through the nose like you're fogging up a
The
mirror.
spleen and liver detox.
It definitely is. Inhale through the nose. Ocean breath out through the nose like you're fogging up a mirror. Breathe in. Ocean breath release. Fill up. Ocean breath out. Inhale. Ocean breath release. Okay, slowly come out of that. We'll come over to our bench. We're going to use our bench and two of our blocks, so both blocks will come with us. So I'm going to be half kneeling behind my bench. My left leg will be forward with a block between my leg and the bench. So I am squeezing that block into the bench, and then I'm going to hug my other block. So left leg forward, right leg back, pushing in against the block and the bench, hugging my other block. From here, as I exhale, I'm just going to twist towards this left leg. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, squeeze in, twist, staying tall through my spine. Inhale, back to center. As I do this, I'm checking that my hips are not shifting with me, and this helps keep them in line. So hips stay even, and I'm really just moving from this thoracic rib cage over towards the left, as far as I can without pain. Other direction, Cheryl. There you go. Sorry, two Cheryls in this class. Exhale, twist towards that left leg. Inhale back. You might even get a hip flexor stretch on this as you're twisting. You're really tight. Now we'll add on by coming forward 45 degrees from the hips, so the spine stays tall and not just bending forward. Spine tall, hinge, and now I twist. Almost like you're golfing and swinging the club, if any of you golf. Or if you're driving and have to look back behind you so you can pull back. Inhale back to center. Remember, exhale, squeeze in on that block and bench. Twist as far back as you can without pain. Inhale back to center. Last 3, 2, we'll switch to the other side. So right leg will come out to the front, squeezing in against that block in the bench, hugging in against your block, staying tall to start. Exhale, twist towards the right. Check that the hips aren't moving. Inhale back to center. Exhale, push in against that block and bench, twist. Inhale back to center. Beautiful. We met a little 4-year-old last night, Hannah, who lost all of his front teeth from falling and hitting his face on the. But I thought of Lenny, and I told my mom and sister the story of Belize, and they were like, "That poor girl."
She lost them from the
Did she? Like.
I keep having to come up with different things to keep her friends.
Did you set the bar really high?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll hinge forward 45 degrees. Turn towards that right side on your exhale. Inhale back up. Knee. Is the knee bothering?
Yeah, I can't stand
Do
it
it
like that.
standing and stagger your stance. So, can we do this again for the primer maybe? Do it here. So you would have flop here. Hinge.
So this guy I work with has a 3-year-old, and
You got lucky.
the 3-year-old lost 4 teeth, and they actually
So
put
twist
like fake teeth in. And then the kid knocked out all the fake teeth that they put in. They were like, okay, we're not doing this again. Put you twice for one kid.
All right, we're gonna come into the a little more challenging portion of our workout. A little more. So left leg is going to be back, right elbow on ground, right leg forward. So we're setting up 90-90. We're gonna push into our legs and lift up into side plank. Inhale, tap down, exhale, lift. Inhale, tap down, exhale, lift. So both knees push into the ground. The most important knee here is your top leg. I don't actually care what the bottom leg's doing, but this top leg is the one that we're focusing on. So the inner thigh is working to get our hips off the ground.
Wait, you said the bottom leg is not?
The bottom leg is I don't care.
Oh, okay.
Top leg.
Okay.
We have 5 more seconds and we'll hold at the top. 2, 1. Push into the elbow and the top knee. Hold here. Exhale, lift your bottom leg off the ground. Inhale, lower.
Oh.
Exhale, lift the bottom leg. Inhale, lower.
That doesn't really work out.
And if you can't get it up, just create that upward motion. So we did that last week in our hip mobility class where it was just kind of creating the tension going upward. As long as when you create that upward tension, you feel this top leg working a little bit harder to push into the ground, that's what we're looking for. 10 more seconds. 2, 1. Let's switch sides. Left leg forward, right leg back. We're gonna lift and lower. Exhale up, inhale down. I made the last class do this for a whole minute. You guys are lucky, you only have to do 30 seconds. 3 minutes. But to be fair, I'm adding something on to your class, so that they didn't have to.
Take that bottom leg.
Yes. Okay, ready. Bottom leg lifts and lowers. Exhale up. Inhale low. Yeah, okay. You can just bring that foot forward, see if that changes things too. No. But I see that you're looking for that.
Oh my
so that's
gosh, I
okay.
cannot do it at all.
That's what we're gonna work on today. What is that, my hips? Inner side.
Oh, okay.
Last 2, 1. And from here, we'll switch to the other side. Now, bottom leg bent, top leg straight. We're pushing into the top leg and the bottom elbow to lift, and we're holding here. So for you, if you're like, there's no way that I can stay up here, take your block, and put your block underneath your knee, but you still want to keep that upward tension with this bottom leg, and then the top leg is pushing into the ground. This one we are holding an entire minute. And you can even bring the knee to the ground if that feels better. So whatever works best for you. If you're shaking, you're doing this right. Rip those hips forward. We're gonna take to the clock. 15 more seconds. Three, two, and relax. Whew. Other side.
Oh.
Same thing. Halfway. Sorry. I like the breathing in the other room. Keep it up. Ten seconds, that's it. Three, two, one. All right, from here, we get to do this on the bench. So, classic plank. You can use your block if it helps your knee. If this bothers you, just hold side plank. Okay, so left knee on the bench, right elbow on the ground. We're gonna push into that left knee, pull the right knee up, hug that bench, and hold for 1 minute. So I'll give you 15 seconds to get set up. You want to be kind of at a T shape with your bench, so you're not hugging it with your body, just your legs. Ready? Set, push into that bottom elbow, squeeze that bench with both legs, hold here. Big full breaths into the rib cage. This is the hardest thing we do today. The last thing before cardio. You thought we didn't have cardio today, didn't you? No. It's only one machine.
Of our choice.
Yes, of your choice. Depending on if your choice is available. Keep squeezing that bench. 15 seconds left. You're 3/4 of the way. And relax. Switch over. We'll start in 10. 3, 2, 1. Lift and squeeze that bench. Push your hips forward. Nice, good, Cheryl. Seriously? What's up?
Yes.
You just love it so much?
This one's so easy.
Oh, really?
I could barely do the other one.
So that is a good indication there's something off in your body.
What's that?
There's something off in your body.
Whoa.
There's something off in my
Not
body.
very
so
good.
off of it.
20 seconds to go.
I think
2/3
it's
of
back
that.
strength.
A lot of that is that oblique strength. But yes, connected to back strength. 5 more seconds. And relax. Woo. All right. We are going to head to any machine of your choice. You're there for one song, 3-minute long song. You're breathing in and out through the nose only. I'm okay with you breathing out through your mouth, but definitely keep it in through the nose. You're here 3 minutes, and I want you pushing about endurance pace. So your endurance pace that you tested for, not just what feels like endurance pace today. Trying to hold that pace while you keep the breath in and out through the nose. Any machine you want. One song, that's it.
Well, I won't rower. I could do a climber too.
Okay.
I was gonna write. Let you get weird.
You start in 15 seconds. 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Ready, set, go. Breathe in and out through the nose. It's okay if you go out through the mouth if you need to, but definitely in through the nose. If that becomes challenging, back it off a little bit until you can get back in through the nose comfortably. Then start to get back up to endurance. Good, Sarah. Nice work. Carol. Good job. It's like walking through the bridge. Relax your shoulders. Nice climbers, looking good.
Never been a fan of change, but I follow you to any place. If it's Hollywood or Bishopsgate, I'm coming too.
Halfway more, halfway.
If you're feeling down, I just wanna make you happier, baby. We're stars around, I just wanna make you happier, baby. We've been doing all this late night talking about anything you wanna till the morning. Now you're in my life. I can't get you off my mind. 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 I won't even try. I won't even try to get you off my mind. We've been doing all this late night talking about anything you wanna.
30 seconds to go. 30 seconds. Keep it up.
I can't get you off my mind. Can't get you off my mind. Can't get you off my mind. Don't even try. Can't get you off my all this late night talking.
You're done. Come on out, grab a block.
Booty.
Grab a ball. Good reset.
Coming to your knees, elbows on that foam block. We're gonna tuck our tailbone underneath, working our way up the spine, one vertebra at a time. Last thing that happens is your head drops. Then holding this position, untuck just the tailbone, so hips are reaching up and open. Belly button starts to drop down towards the ground. Rib cage starts to open towards the floor. Shoulder blades pull down the back away from the ears, and the last thing is you look up at the sky. Hold this position, tuck the tailbone. Pull that belly button up towards the ceiling. Rib cage starts to tuck towards the pelvic bone. Start to round out through the upper back. We're still looking up towards the sky. Our head naturally wants to move with the rest of our spine, but that's going to be the very last thing to drop down. Keep going. Today was core day. Pretty gentle for a Monday. Hopefully a good way to warm up for tomorrow for full body strength. Wednesday will be upper body cardio. Thursday, lower body strength. Friday, core Pilates. When you're ready, come up to the hands, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, drop the hips to the right. Look over your right shoulder for your hips. Pause here, breathe into that left side body. And when you're ready, you can just inhale, switch over on your exhale. Dropping the hips to the left, looking over the left shoulder, opening up the right side body and breathing into it. That a few times each direction, and then you guys are done. Happy Monday! How's your knee doing? What bothers